Hello, and welcome to Guidance for a Better Life. I'm happy today to have my guest, Martha Stenson, who's going to share a story that may possibly reassure some of you that your loved ones do meet in heaven after they're gone. And I think it's very comforting to know your parents, if they love each other, they do get together when they pass. So, hi Martha.
Hi Dal.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
This is a topic I think concerns a lot of people. When a loved one passes, will they see their loved one again? Or if a parent passes, will the other parent meet if they loved each other? Maybe they don't love each other, but if they do. And you've got a beautiful story called Together Again. And you started with your mother-in-law and your father-in-law.
Right.
Could you share that story? And then we're pretty sure about your mom who just passed at over 100, which is phenomenal. She's probably with your dad. But let's tell the story about your husband's parents. Your husband's mom, your mother-in-law, died from Alzheimer's?
She died from complications from Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's, okay.
Right. My father-in-law had gone first. Her husband had gone first. They had a good
7 years earlier
right.
or something like that? Okay.
Rather suddenly. And they had a good marriage. They had a lot of love between them. They just loved being together. I was very blessed to have, my husband was blessed to have parents like that loved each other.
So you could tell they didn't just hang out, but they didn't want a divorce.
No.
But they truly loved each
They
other.
did.
And that's the big part of this. If somebody really loves another, that's when very likely you're blessed by God to see him again. So they loved each other.
They did.
The dad,
He passed away, and
7 years earlier.
my mother-in-law absolutely could not imagine life without him. So
She must have really loved him.
Yeah, so she was shocked when he's gone, but she did get this Alzheimer's, and then after a while she even forgot about her husband.
You say in your story she thought about him every day and missed him, but the Alzheimer robbed her of even missing him.
It did.
So I don't know if that's a blessing or not a blessing, but it's kind of sad either way.
Right. So then when she passed, I would wonder from time to time, had they met up again?
Because they love each other so much in the physical, and she kept thinking about him so much, it makes sense. You'd want to know, well, if the love is that strong, does God allow them to meet in heaven?
Right.
And
I was just
how did you find out?
Well, I had a dream. It didn't happen right away. I had a dream about a year and a half after she passed, I think it was.
Okay.
And I saw them together. I saw my father-in-law looking great, my mother-in-law. She looked very, very young. She had a full head of dark hair.
She didn't look like she had the Alzheimer's anymore?
No. Her eyes were intelligent and clear. And
it sounds like you saw them in the prime of their life.
Oh, they were, yeah.
So they were still a couple?
They were still a couple.
In the prime of their life?
Yeah.
Do they still like each other?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Very much.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a blessing to me to see that they were together again, and know that the hard years were gone and they were together again.
That God allowed them to get back together and continue their love story.
Yeah.
Is there any doubt? Some people don't understand dreams. You've studied dreams for years. This sounds like more than just a vague dream about pink elephants or something. How real was this experience? How sure are you that you really got to witness them together, and you just didn't hopefully wish they were together and kind of imagine something? Are you sure that was a real experience?
Yes, I'm positive. I was allowed to see them together. I was allowed to be with them actually and talk with them.
Okay.
So we had a short conversation.
Oh, you actually interacted. All right.
Yeah.
Now I know that, but a lot of our viewers may not really know much about dreams. Up here at the school we study dreams, and that's actually more than a dream. You actually were in that particular place with them and actually interacted with them.
Yes.
And God can do that. If God loves us enough, if he wants to, he can allow us to go meet somebody that's on the other side, which is a huge gift of love. So after that, where do we go in your story after that? That reassured you that loved ones do meet in heaven if God allows it, which he usually does.
It was very reassuring to me, to see
And
them.
then we go to your parents. Your dad passed, I think,
He passed some time ago, and
when he was in his 70s?
He was in his 80s. It's been
80s?
about 21 years now that he's been gone.
All right, your mom just passed literally a couple months ago.
She was without him for 21 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how does this first story relate to your mom and dad? Are you pretty certain, because of your experience with your mother and father-in-law, that your mom and dad are back together?
I am very certain, very certain. And I've gotten so much reassurance on that from my mom sharing her experiences in her dreams.
Now, you asked her one time, years ago in your story, does she ever see your dad in dreams? Because you know dreams.
Yeah.
And I think in the story you were shocked that, like, every day.
I was shocked because it was amazing that I even asked her. I think I had a nudge to even ask her. I said, Mom, do you ever see Dad in your dreams? And I was surprised because she said, yeah, every night.
Wow.
Sometimes several times a night.
Wow.
And in the last few years, she was even seeing him when she lay down during the day and took a nap.
Okay.
So they were together a lot.
Even while he passed, they were still having some contact through dreams or visions.
Right.
Now, you said in the book, in your story, you had a very vivid experience where your mom was on one side of a bridge and your dad was on the other side of a bridge, like on the other side. Actually, passing on's not much more than just walking across the bridge. Could you share that with us?
Yeah.
This is through a dream, but a very clear dream.
Yeah, this was a very clear dream. Actually, my mom's dream that she had more than once.
She shared
this dream with me. She said she would be on one side of the bridge, my dad would be on the other, and they would come across the bridge and meet in the center.
Wow.
And that's where they would meet. And this happened more than once. She has a recurring dream like this. So to me, it was just beautiful.
It's like the other side of the bridge is the other side.
Yeah.
And it's almost as simple when you pass as walking across a bridge and meeting your loved ones. Right. In this case, her husband.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And we've had other stories written by some of the students up here at the school where they've seen something similar. We had a friend of mine who his mom, as his mom was getting close to passing, she had similar dreams of being on a bridge, and she'd be allowed at night in dreams to cross the bridge over to see her husband who had passed years before. So this seems kind of like not a random thing.
Right. And my mom, she didn't even know the significance of it, so it wasn't as if she had that in a reference system even.
With no reference and not reading anything or reading any of our books.
No.
She was sharing that. She just passed a month or so ago, right?
Yeah, she passed a month tomorrow.
So based on your experiences with what she told you and your experience with your husband's mother and father, how they were together and you got to talk to them, how certain are you that your mom and dad are probably back together?
I am so certain. Of course, I don't know everything, but I would say I'm very, very certain. I don't have any doubts.
Okay.
Because...
Does that comfort you?
Oh, yeah.
I assume they loved each other.
Yeah, it comforts me that she's happy and he's happy.
Okay.
That they can pick up where they left off, that wonderful relationship they had, communication and
maybe,
sharing.
Maybe on this other side, but that love continues.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you'd like to share, Martha?
Well, before your parents do pass, maybe you can talk with them and see how they feel. If they've had any dreams, I was given a nudge to ask my mom. I might not have even asked her, so I'm grateful for asking her. Do you ever have dreams?
Because she shared so many dreams with your dad, and this dream experience, and there's several others in your story in the book that gives you peace that they still love each other, and that love survives physical death. That's still there.
Right.
So I'm glad you asked her.
I'm grateful that I was given that nudge to ask her.
That's to ask her. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank
you. A real blessing to be reassured like you are, that your loved ones, if they love each other, and it's a deep love, that they will spend more time together.
It is.
So I hope this show blesses you today, and if you have a loved one that has departed, at least consider and this may be new to you, but at least consider that you will get to see him again. Or if both your parents are departed, they are together if they loved each other. So the love continues beyond death. That's really the main part of this story. And if you're not familiar with dreams or traveling spiritually, that's okay. At least consider, if you should have a dream someday with a loved one who's departed, at least consider accepting it as truth. And if it moves you and touches you in some way, that almost proves to some degree it's real. Because you can't accept the blessing of seeing a loved one unless you at least consider it's real. So I hope this show gave you something to think about, and I hope it blesses you in some way. Thank you for watching our shows. And by the way, the story you heard today is actually in one of the books on my author's page on Amazon. It's Visit Loved Ones in Heaven. And when you have a dream with a loved one, it's essentially like you get to go to heaven and visit them. So this is on Amazon, and I think this book might be an audio now. We're working on getting most of our dozen books or so on audio. So thank you for watching today.